What's up guys, this is Katrina with the Code Mapsters. I'm here today to teach you about building the X-Axis for the Prusa i3 MK3 3D printer. Here at Code Mapsters, it's our goal to bring you instructional and effective videos to get you building and coding at home as soon as possible. Alright, for the next X-Axis, we're going to just grab the bags labeled X-Axis, and then we're going to find the plastic. Here's our X-Axis bag, so it's got this black piece and a few large rod holding looking pieces. Okay, so we'll open these on up. Okay guys, so this next step's not super user friendly. We've got these 4 bearings. We need to get them into these barrels here, these little tunnels, and they have some give because of this printed line cut. So I couldn't get them in. So what we're trying to do is I'm gonna prop this open a little bit so I can get the nose in evenly. Hopefully not break the piece. Locked and loaded, okay. The first one's in. But now the second one is to pull, and you have to go from a very specific end. This other end actually has a kind of a piece sticking into it, so you can't actually insert it from that side, so don't try. So you want the kind of the flat end with this other circle. So then I somehow have to get this next one in, and you want it to be 45 degrees to the first. Oh, that was actually easier than I expected. So once you get the first one in, the second one was a breeze. So it's not, let's show you, it's not all the way in. There's still a bit of a gap at the very end. So they're inserted, and it said it should be seated at the very rim of the first part. All right, so let's do the next one. Same deal. You want to put it on the end with this other circle that's happening. All right, there we go. So by propping that, you see we've got in a bit, and whoop, now we're just gonna go, whoop. You can, it's actually pretty easy if you set it up like this. You can actually look down the barrel and see where those balls line up. Then we'll go pop, pop. All right, and then you can actually hear it click when it locks in. Let's move on to the next step. So on this piece, the one with the crazy little arm hexagon doodad, if you look on the very back of it, there is a number. Mine says B6. So if you have B6 or higher, this is a relevant step. If you don't, well, it's not relevant, and I don't think the holes exist. So what we need is we need to pull out one of the M18 screws. Those are the longer ones, and one of the square nuts. And we need to insert the square nut in this little gizmo there. And then on the side, we can feed this in and turn it until it's about flush with the mount here. So that step is done. The next step is we are going to put the bearing into here. So we start by putting our nut with rubber side up into the little bit of an indent there. It says not to use excessive force, but that's maybe in the eye of the beholder. I'm gonna get this slightly larger flathead and just try to... That may have been the answer. So we're gonna insert this. It locks and loads with lips in there, so you don't even have to worry about it slipping out. And we're gonna insert the screw from the other side. And then we'll go ahead and Allen key this into place. Beautiful. So we need this to be able to rotate freely, so I over tightened it. So make sure you don't do that. And let's loosen this up. All right. That is step 5 complete, the bearing assembly. So we're on to step 6, which is page 7 of 12. So the X-axis isn't nearly as time-consuming as the Y-axis. For the next bit, we need the long rods. So of the remaining rods, some are short and some are long. Here we go. We need to grab the remaining bearings, and we need to put 2 of them on one of the rods and 1 of them on the other. I'm just gonna go ahead and do this on some paper towel. I don't believe that it matters which go where, but we do need 2. And the same goes, try not to hurt the ball assemblies, and if you do pop out the balls, you might want to order some new bearings. So we've got 2 on that one and 1 on this one. So that was a pretty easy step, and now we are through with step 6. So then for step 7, we need to insert the rods into here somehow. Let's see what it has to say. So we want one side this way with the arm facing out. We want this one facing this way so that the bearing is in the front here. And then we're going to take our long rods, and the one with 2 are going to go in this hole right here. Let's put those on. Throw this other side on. Okay, that's nice and secure. So now we need to check if we push these in all the way. We can do that because there's a little slot. So if you check on the back sides here, if you can see if they're in all the way, and mine are not. Okay, so this side's in now. Oh, bam. Oh, that wasn't even...
I was hoping that was it.
Me too, that's why I got all excited. Huh. Would a light tap, tap, tap be bad?
Seems incredibly bad.
We do have a rubber mallet. What we're struggling with right now is we're supposed to be able to see the rod in that little square there. And we cannot. We can on this side though. We're trying to figure out how we might go about fixing that. Because it's in there now. It's not likely coming back out. I got it. Okay. So, rocking it back and forth with downward pressure. Let's move on to whatever's next. All right, so next is the motor pulley for this one. Find the one with the X-axis. Thank you. So one of these is, oh, this one says X. Actually, you can see it right on this little tag here. Now if we go back to this little baggie, there is a motor piece just like we did for the Y-axis. So we'll need that, and we need our motor. Okay, so this step's actually pretty straightforward. All we want to do is, once again, locate that flat piece of the motor. The flat piece of the motor. And we're going to just slide this on. We want the screws facing the back. And we want one of the screws to be on the flat part so that we can tighten it. We don't want, again, we don't want it pushed all the way against the motor. We'll loosely tighten it so that it's not just like rolling around, but we're gonna come back to this later, get it in position, doing a calibration like with the last one. Take the kind of army piece with the motor, and it is going to, so these little holes here are specifically going to go into that. We've got some remaining pieces. Now it says we want 3 M18 screws. I only have 2 in there, so either I lost one or it was missing, but they do give us a replacement parts bag. So let's have a look. So there's a bag, it says spare. There's lots in here, so I'm gonna bet that there probably is one. So the spare parts bag to the rescue. We want the cord here facing you, and then we're gonna screw this on. Okay, so we need to pull this out. Try the pliers. Alright, so it's in there, but not all the way in there because I need to be able to put this screw in that hole. These all have a little bit of give. Let's get these lined up and attached. Really interfering. Having these 2 separate levels. And let's see if I can better line that up. Okay, so that one started. All right, let's go to the next step. So we'll move on to the next step where we get to play with what they call the carriage piece. What we have to do, I had to go to my replacement parts thing again to get another square nut here, but there's little insertion points. So some of them are on the sides and some of them are on the, no, they're all on the sides actually. So they're easy to find if you just kind of flip it so this kind of terrifying face is looking upwards. You can see you put one in there. I might need to clean that out. There's one in. All right, let's take a look at what's blocking that. So neither of those are inserting properly for me. All right, there we go. So I just had to clean it out a little bit with the Allen key. And now that one at least went in. So you can see now that they're both in there. So now we're gonna do the same in the middle, right there. And then the final two right there. All right. And we'll just make sure these are all pulled in enough. I assume we're gonna be putting some screws in through the top. Perfect, so it's ready to go. All right, so we'll go ahead and we'll grab 2 zip ties. We want to take the bed here, and there is a zip tie hole here. We want this rectangle-y piece kind of facing the outside. And it doesn't tell us to close it at this point. So we'll put both these in and move on to the next step. This is the last 2 steps. Let's bring this thing back. We've got the motor. It's going to actually face this way. It's flipped upside down. The 2 are at the back and the motor's right here. So we want this one to sit in here and we want this one, both of those to sit right in there. So we're going to set them in there, close the zip tie. This one doesn't have a zip tie. So this one has a bit of a slot there. These ones, oh, it's just kind of snapping into place now. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and tighten these up. At the end, we want the squares to be on this side. I'm just kind of pushing down and trying to tighten those as securely as I can. We'll go ahead and cut off these remaining bits with my scissors. Then we're gonna move on to the Z-axis.